You guys can hear me, I hope. I'm not sure whether you guys have the habit of responding and chatting, etc. But if you do, that'll be interesting. Otherwise, we have 45 minutes altogether, and we have, I mean, I will take about 40 minutes or so. Um, it's the best way of doing anything of these sorts is mostly interacting, because I would like to know what exactly you would like to know, and what all do you really involve yourself in artificial intelligence and all these matters. But it's extremely difficult when it comes to online when people interact. But if you do, that'll be awesome. And when you do, whenever you do, that can be in terms of a discussion, that can be in terms of a query, a question, or anything like that. If you can note down all the questions and we can talk at the end. I can respond back to you. If you can note down the questions and ask me, I can respond back to you. I will provide you my contact details, etc., at the end, so that you can reach out to me and ask me for further sessions, because artificial intelligence is massive. I've been trying to work on this for the last. I mean, when you talk of working on this, I like utilizing things. When I come to see that this particular product will be useful for me, or this particular technology will be useful for me, I tend to use it. And if I find it useful, then I keep it, and I keep on playing with it. They keep having iterations in the sense 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, different. They keep having that, and when they keep having that, I keep trying to update myself and use it. But after you start doing so, especially with this artificial intelligence thing, I'm like, oh my God, it's like a vast ocean. Even in 6 months, I think everything has changed like massively. So that's the way it is. I don't want to get into the this definition part of it, but if all of you understand Hindi, then सबसे बढ़िया डेफिनेशन वही होता है जिससे कि आदमी को समझ में आए, जिसमें अंग्रेजी ज्यादा यूज न किया जाए, आदमी को समझ में आए. And you can get ChatGPT to do this, or any of the AI tools to do this when you do the prompting. आज मैं prompt में भी जाऊंगा, थोड़ा बहुत use cases में भी जाऊंगा, थोड़ा बहुत tools में भी जाऊंगा, और ये सब 40 मिनट में करना है मुझे. So if I want to do it in terms of a definition, it is, human beings, yeah. If you want to get into the definition of it, it's primarily like human beings have been in the realm of, or in the manner of using their knowledge on a regular basis for at least for the last a little bit more than 100 years, a little bit more than 100, maybe around 200 years or so, in terms of using intelligence to improve themselves on a regular basis. More than 100 years, but really all the time we have been doing that. But in terms of putting it on paper, after the Gutenberg press, a revolution happened with paper and books, and people started writing about whatever they. But even the oral tradition, there was intelligence, but everything was written down. Earlier, it was memorizing everything, and then memory came in, and then Gutenberg press happened in Germany, and then that continued. The intelligence जो है वो लिखते orally लिखते, फिर लिखते बात करते करते, शेयर करते करते, बढ़ते गया है. लेकिन there was a time before when something used to happen in some other part of the world, and it used to take 3 days or 4 days for it to reach us. Even in my generation, sometimes things used to happen in a particular place, and it used to take a lot of time. There was a thing called telegram. Whenever you want to reach a person fast, now you know what happened. You guys may not even know what that feeling is when you don't know what is happening in another part of the world where your family is. But that was the way the world was. Now, using all the intelligence that human beings have, we have changed, and we reached this stage. We have reached this stage where normal phones have moved on, and now we have smartphones. And smartphones hote use karte. When Google was the biggest thing in the world, kuch bhi search karo mil jata hai. From there, now we're moving into this artificial intelligence. Now, what is artificial intelligence? All these intelligence things, systems, books, articles, knowledge elements, which is there, which is available on the internet, as well as in all the databases and data availability, all these things or for your taking. हम अपने दिमाग में बहुत सारी चीजें रखते हैं, जैसे इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं तो कोई अपने से क्वेश्चन पूछता है, तो शायद 10 साल पहले वाला चीज भी जब कोई आदमी पूछता है या फिर कोई भी पूछता है तो वी रिस्पॉन्ड एंड वी नो एग्जैक्टली व्हाट टू रिस्पॉन्ड. We haven't forgotten it. That was somewhere in the memory. Same way, a whole lot of human intelligence is available everywhere. And that human intelligence is being utilized and being immersed into this, generative process technology where we tend to use it with machines are kind of picking up stuff from there whenever you ask them a query. Now, the ability to ask questions has become a massive thing. आप लोगों को जब college वाले में पढ़ते होंगे, people who are working, for people who are working even then, you guys are asked to ask questions on a regular basis. Now, suddenly, the utility value of questions is big. It's massive. क्योंकि आपको पता होना चाहिए कि क्वेश्चन कैसे पूछते हैं, क्योंकि चैट जीपीटी को सीधा क्वेश्चन पूछने से most of the time output is extremely awkward and not at all precise. It can give you anything. It can, because it searches anything and everything. And when you ask for a simplified output, when you ask that, can you make a presentation about NDA winning elections? If that is the question that you ask, then ChatGPT will give you an answer. But it would not have nuances. It would not have वो जो चीज है जिससे कि हम कुछ पढ़ते हैं, वो जो चीज है जिससे कि हमें कुछ अच्छा लगता है देखने में, वो नहीं आएगा. Information आएगा. बहुत सारे information पॉइंट है. जैसे कि there are people, when you ask a question in an interview, tell me something about yourself. The person goes, well, I'm Abhijit Nair, and I've done my education from Delhi, and then I went to UK. I studied there. Then I worked in so and so company, and then I worked as a photographer. Then I worked as a writer. Then I tried my hand in business. Then I tried my hand. I failed in something, and then you're like, oh God, you tend to feel bored by it. But now I put stories into it. Suddenly it becomes interesting. Suddenly you want to listen to it. लेकिन जब इंटरव्यू होता है तो बहुत सारे लोग ये पूछते हैं, आप इसको एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर से बताओ, आप इसको एक किसी और स्टोरी के तौर से बताओ, आप एक काम करो, why don't you tell me an example from your current organization where you have done some kind of problem solving? Can you explain to me how communication skills helped you in a different situation? If you ask the specific questions in an interview, that's when you get specific answers. ChatGPT is like that. The reason why it is like that, there are stages of this development. There are levels of development of AI tools. Right now, we are at the first stage, which is emerging tools. These are emerging. They're trying different variations, but even this is massive in terms of the change that we are getting, in terms of what it's gonna and how it's gonna affect us. I'm gonna share the screen and show you a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint presentation, but that's the way we do it, so we'll do it. Anyway, so. I hope you can see the application, all of you. And okay, anyway, so this is the future of work, artificial intelligence, no question about that. You're going to use it for problem solving, decision making, communication improvement, talking to people, blowing up ideas, creative suggestions, innovation, all these things. And जो चीज हमें लगता था कि काम है, जो रिपीटेटिवली हम करते रहते हैं, कि ईमेल में रिस्पॉन्ड करना, स्प्रेडशीट बनाना, स्प्रेडशीट का रिपोर्ट बनाना, प्रपोजल बनाना, ये सारे जो रेगुलर स्टफ है, that becomes, or repetitive stuff there, that becomes something else. And that will become very usual. I mean, it is not very, very cool. I'll give you an example, say for example, a receptionist. Most of the time, the receptionist at a particular organization, they do a very similar set of tasks. Sometimes the questions can be a little bouncy from the customer, client, new person who's just calling just like that randomly. Any individual calling to ask an organization what it is all about. All these elements, when it comes to play, the receptionist has a particular response in a particular way. And if the receptionist has worked for 5 to 10 years, the receptionist is a wonderful amass of knowledge in terms of how the organization has changed, what it is then, what it is now, all these things. So if I ask the receptionist to record all this, जो उसके पास इंफॉर्मेशन है, किस तरीके के सवाल आते हैं, आपने देखा होगा, ये क्या बोलते थे, फ्रीक्वेंटली आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस, जहां भी आप जाते हो उसमें फ्रीक्वेंटली एफएक्यूज बोलते हैं। तो वो एफएक्यूज जो है, वो अगर मैं एक जीपीटी जो कि टूल है, जो आप चैट जीपीटी के अंदर जाके बना सकते हो, उस टूल को मैं फ्रीक्वेंटली आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस में दे पाऊं, as soon as I put that across down into that, and then whenever the customer calls, the GPT is the one who will be responding. That tool will be responding to the customer. और जितने ज्यादा क्वेश्चन, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग अप नेम्स फ्रॉम पीपल whom I see here, राजकुमार सिन्हा ने या दीपक सोनी ने एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी को कॉल किया, वहां पे एक चैटबॉट है, उसको आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, या फिर एक जीपीटी है जिसको आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, उस टूल ने उस टाइम में एक रिस्पॉन्स किया, लेकिन जब भी आप रिस्पॉन्ड करोगे तो वो रिकॉर्ड हो जाता है उस टूल के अंदर। तो दीपक ने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा वो रिकॉर्ड हो गया। अब एक ही दिन में करीब 80 कॉल्स 90 कॉल्स आते हैं उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, सारे रिकॉर्ड हो गए, एंड जीपीटी विल रिमेंबर द आंसर्स व्हिच इट गेव, व्हिच मेड द पर्सन हैप्पी and which did not make the person happy, whichever way it goes. And if depending on the way the answer has been got, GPT will keep it aside, say that this was a satisfactory answer, this was an unsatisfactory answer, etc., 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 etc. It keeps going, and this continuously, when it goes, what happens is there is a massive volume of ideas which it has, which it will respond to at a later stage when, say, somebody like Ram Kumar will ask a question of a similar kind. If a new question is asked, mostly if it knows the answer, it will give you an answer. If Ram Kumar is satisfied, it will save it as a satisfactory answer, and then it will respond. But this, you have to code it, or you have to generate it. You got to make it like that. As you learn, that's what you learn. Anyway, Ram Kumar, yeah, you have raised your hand. So. Mr. Ram Kumar, you raised your hand, so I'm waiting. If you have a question, or would you be asking the question later? I'm not sure whether you can hear me.
In case you're not able to put up your question, you can also type it down in the chat, Ram.
आप chat पे भी लिख सकते हो, राम कुमार जी. Anyway, so that's the simplest form of explanation that I can give you to get a small understanding. Of course, ChatGPT is used for much more high purposes. Any of the LLM tools are used for much more high purposes. Any of the GPTs are used for much more high purposes. Now, making this tool is an extremely difficult thing, but that's where the future is. And if you start using even ChatGPT, for example, I mean, don't use anything else, Gemini or anything, just use ChatGPT. If you can use ChatGPT for your purposes, and if you start prompting it, and you start learning how to prompt, and if this prompt becomes better and better and better with each iteration, तो आप एक लेवल पे आ जाओगे जहां पे आपको समझ में आएगा कि आपको जो बनाना है वो भी बना सकते हो, वो टूल आप बना सकते हो. नाउ इसके लिए आपको जो जानकारी होनी चाहिए about your job has to be really flush and has to be really wonderful, because if at all you don't know what exactly you're doing on a repetitive basis, in an innovative basis or anything like that, then what happens, whatever input you give the GPT, that'll take it and it'll be below par work, the response. So garbage in, garbage out wala bada problem hai. So you might have heard every organization being obsessed with this thing called learning. You've got to learn, you've got to keep learning, you've got to keep updating yourself. What they're trying to say is, whatever you're doing, that's fantastic. You're doing exceptional jobs in your organizations, that's fantastic. You're doing amazingly well in your academic world, that's fantastic. Using ChatGPT is important, using AI is important, but you got to know how to use it very well, because if you know what you're doing, if you know exactly what you want, then you can ask ChatGPT for help. I'll give you an example. किसी को सस्टेनेबिलिटी के बारे में, स्पेशली एनवायरमेंटल सस्टेनेबिलिटी के बारे में एक रिसर्च पेपर लिखना था, लेकिन इम्प्लीमेंटेबल होना चाहिए, मतलब उस चीज को आप जाके वहां मतलब इन रियल में इम्प्लीमेंट करना भी होगा उस बंदे को. So this was what he wanted. So he wanted research people, his research people, to search for it. And obviously, the research people, with the current way things are, they searched on ChatGPT. Initial outputs were bad, but they kept improving. They asked for the best to the best to the best. So Harvard के papers, MIT के paper, मतलब उस तरीके के जो दुनिया के सबसे बढ़िया वाले environmental work जो होता है sustainability में, environmental sustainability के जो work होता है, उस चीजों का पूरे white papers, research papers, कंपनीज जिसका काम उस एंगल में होता है, उसके पेपर्स और सब पढ़ने के लिए चैट जीपीटी को बोला. Initially, ChatGPT came up with a lot of things, but they choose out of 20-25 papers of these sorts. The researchers भी बैठ के पढ़े, वो सारी चीजें बैठ के पढ़े. पढ़ने के बाद they came out with 6 papers which they thought would be extremely useful to create this report. So they uploaded all these 6 reports. Then they told ChatGPT to come out with a report based on a lot of, I mean, there's a different kind of input. मैंने बोला ना, अगर आपको prompt के बारे में अगर session चाहिए तो बता देना, we'll do it at a later stage. But right now, they did a prompt on these 6 papers. That the ChatGPT has to come out with a report. That report came out, and that report was so useful and so wonderful. It was utilized by certain states within the United States for their environmentally sustainable programs. But this report was not specific to an organization, university, किसी बंदे का, but बहुत सारे inputs मिला के एक अच्छा सा report जो कि बहुत आगे भी useful हो जाए ऐसे वाला बनाया. So you understand the utility value. But garbage in, garbage out वाला फंडा बहुत important है इसमें, क्योंकि आप जितना भी अगर आप just randomly choose करोगे चीजों को तो randomly answer मिलेगा. आप specifically choose करें इस चीजों को, आपको स्पेसिफिकली आंसर मिलेगा. आपको कस्टमाइज्ड आपकी जरूरतों के हिसाब से आपको चूज करना है, तो आप उस हिसाब से आप पूछ के आपको उस तरीके का आंसर मिलेगा. सो इट्स लाइक अ मेजर व्हाट यू कॉल इट अबाउट people keep saying that people may lose jobs, and they will, a lot of people may lose their jobs and they may not be like up there, and AI will take over everything. मैकडोनल्ड्स की नौकरियां चली जाएगी क्योंकि AI bots आ जाएंगे वहां पे आपको सर्व करने के लिए, and all these things people are talking about. Receptionist चली जाएगी, अकाउंट्स ऑफिसर्स चले जाएंगे. हो सकता है, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि नहीं हो सकता है, लेकिन तब भी अकाउंटिंग में कई लोग होना चाहिए जो इनोवेटिव काम करते, जो कंटिन्यूअसली इससे पूछ पाए, इसको बता पाए, इस सिस्टम को बता पाए. वो तो सीख ही रही है, आई मीन द चैट जीपीटी और जो भी सिस्टम आप यूज कर रहे हो वो सीख ही रही है. बट द ब्यूटी ऑफ ह्यूमन इनोवेशन इज ये चलते रहेगा, मतलब ये बढ़ते रहेगा. हम इसी से खुश नहीं होंगे, और हमें चाहिए, और डिफरेंट चीजें हमें चाहिए. तो इट विल कंटिन्यू टू हैपन एंड यू विल गेट एक्सपोनेंशियल अमाउंट ऑफ जॉब्स. बट द जॉब्स विल बी डिफरेंट. इट विल बी नॉलेज बेस्ड, नॉट मेमोरी बेस्ड. पहले कैसे होता था, हर चीज मेमोरी बेस्ड होता था. अगर आप कॉलेज स्कूल में याद करो तो डेफिनेशन जिस तरीके से मैंने बोला है उस तरीके से पढ़ो, ये होता था. और जिस तरीके से वो बोला गया है वो लिखो. और कई जगह पर आप जब इंटरव्यू में गए होंगे या फिर आपने स्कूल में भी देखा होगा, क्विज कॉम्पिटिशन्स होता है, मेमोरी के हिसाब से क्विज कॉम्पिटिशन्स होता है. आपकी मेमोरी सही है कि नहीं ये देख लीजिए. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि मेमोरी बुरी बात है, लेकिन मेमोरी का जो वैल्यू है, उसके इम्पैक्ट, वो जो आपने मेमोराइज किया उससे क्या फायदा होने वाला है दुनिया को या कंपनी को या इंस्टीट्यूट को या किसी भी चीज को, उस चीज से फायदा होगा. तो वो बहुत, दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन थियरी इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्ल्ड that we're going to go into of artificial intelligence, because memories it is already having. Using those memories for your benefit, that's exactly what is required. So get into that habit of, अगर मेरे को theory पता है तो उस theory को use कैसे करते हैं. That's what your angle should be in everything that you do. When you're asking AI tools, if you're asking today ChatGPT some question, ask it specifically the way you want it, and I promise you the answers will be different. And keep trying. Ask very simple thing first, ask something else differently first, and then keep making it better and better and better and better, and you will become better depending on your requirement. Anyway, so there's going to be a massive thing of efficiency. Efficiency is going to improve because जो repetitive task है वो खत्म हो जाएगा और जो specific, innovative, creative task है वो बढ़ते जाएंगे तो efficiency और बढ़ेगा. Productivity तो बढ़नी है क्योंकि repetitive task कोई और कर रहा है. जैसे for example, अगर आप एप्पल फोन यूज कर रहे हो या एंड्रॉइड फोन यूज कर रहे हो, सैमसंग के जो एआई वाला है, तो आपके जितने भी नोटिफिकेशन, आप सारे एप्स के नोटिफिकेशन ऑन रखो और आपके जितने भी नोटिफिकेशन है उसका एक समराइज्ड हिसाब किताब जो है वो आपको एवरी 2 आवर्स देते रहेगा. उस समरी में आपको अगर कोई भी चीज इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है तो आप क्लिक करके अंदर जाके पढ़ सकते हो, इलैबोरेट पढ़ सकते हो. और अगर नहीं लग रहा है तो यू कैन जस्ट रीड द समरी एंड लीव. जैसे बुक्स की समरी होती है, आप पूछ लो और बुक का छोटा समरी 500 वर्ड्स का समरी दिया जाएगा. आपको इंटरेस्ट लग रही है तो आप बुक आगे पढ़ो, आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं लग रही है छोड़ सकते हो. लेकिन आप सारे बुक्स का ये कर सकते हो. Anybody who gives you any suggestion of any book in this world, ask GPT for a 500 word summary. And when you get that summary, read that summary. If you feel that it's worth it for you, आपके लिए यूजफुल है, आपके आगे की जिंदगी के लिए यूजफुल है, आपके करियर के लिए यूजफुल है, आपके पर्सनल लाइफ के लिए यूजफुल है, कुछ भी आपके हेल्थ के लिए यूजफुल है तो आगे पढ़ो. नहीं पढ़ना है, you know. But then that 500 word thing, isn't it wonderful? It's almost like reading news, you know. But जितना चाहिए उतना, those sort of things. So that will be massive. Innovation will be massive. एक चीज कर सकते हो आप ChatGPT में, you can start asking questions to ChatGPT to and fro. You can keep talking to ChatGPT. You don't have anybody to bounce ideas of. जैसे कि आपके पास एक हाँ फूड वैन का आइडिया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू नो, आप जहाँ पे भी हो, जहाँ पे भी रहते हो, दिल्ली, नोएडा, गुड़गांव, लखनऊ, I don't know, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Bombay, wherever you're from, if you have an idea and you want to put that out there and you want to discuss it with somebody, the way you used to discuss it with friends, you know, we used to go and tell, मैं सोच रहा एक फूड वैन खोलूं, थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया है मेरे पास, तो बताना कैसा होगा आइडिया. This is what we used to do with friends. Now you don't have a friend to talk to, or most of the friends would say, nah, it won't work in Gurgaon, it won't work here, it won't work in Bombay or something like that. You don't want to do that for whatever reason, but you want to talk to a machine. Guess what? You can do that. And you can be very specific about your needs, very specific about what you want. They'll give you suggestions. You can keep asking for more. You can keep pushing it. You can tell that, no, I don't think this is a good idea. Come up with another one. It'll tell you more. Regenerate thing. Regenerate click करो और आएगा. You know, it will keep going. आजकल तो आप बात भी कर सकते हो. आफ्टर ये जो ChatGPT 4o आया हुआ है, उसमें तो आप पूछ भी सकते हो. तो बातें करके भी आप कर सकते हो. और वो सारी बातें जो है वो सेव भी हो जाती है. मतलब आपने जो बोला वो भी सेव हो जाती है, उन्होंने जो रिस्पॉन्ड किया वो भी सेव हो जाती है. और लास्ट में अगर आपको उसको डाउनलोड करना है तो वो भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. अगर आपको अच्छा लगा वो कॉन्वर्जेशन और कहीं आपको डालना हो तो वो भी कर सकते हैं. I mean, there are different ways of doing it. So it's going to be massive in terms of, you know, I'll give you an example. You know, I tried using an Excel sheet once, and I wanted to get a report of the Excel sheet. It is a random thing, you know. It was about nutrition and United Nations report on nutrition. It was a massive Excel sheet, and I did not see the report, but I wanted ChatGPT to come up with a report or from the Excel sheet. And it's a massive Excel sheet. It had, I don't know, 300 columns or something, and 2 lakh rows or something, and too much data in it. And primarily my brain doesn't really find it easy to go through so much data. So I just asked it to come up with the most salient points and show me, you know, designs. What do you call it? How do you call it? Not designs, graphs defining things which would be difficult to understand. And guess what? It did that. And it did that in about 10 minutes or something. It completely took out the data. Of course, I had to be specific. The second time I did it, I was very specific. कि कौन सा you know, data point के साथ किस और data point को compare करना है, ये सब चीजें. तो मेरे को भी वो Excel sheet देखना पड़ गया. But I had a basic understanding क्योंकि उसने first report जो है वो छोटा सा 1000 word का बनाया था. तो एक perspective मिल गया था. So I started using that perspective. I asked it for इसमें जितने भी attributes use किया गया है वो बताइए, जितने भी data points use किया गया है वो बताइए, वो बताया. फिर उस हिसाब से मैंने figure out किया कि इसमें से क्या मैं choose कर सकता हूँ, you know, on all those things. So it's a very interesting, and how do you play with it? It's about playing with it. Obviously, you can use a lot of courses. Courses are brilliant. Courses are useful. So as I told you, the slides which you are going on right now, as I told you, mostly it's automation of repetitive tasks. ताकि बड़े सही कामों में employees ध्यान दें, वो ability to understand the right work has become a very important thing. Workflows पूरा जितने भी आपके workflows है दिन में, आप जितने भी किस तरीके से आप काम करते हो, और उसको पूरा आप एक automate कर सकते हो, And data analysis is the biggest thing, and some amazing analytics of data. And especially if you understand what exactly are the data points, and if you understand what questions to ask, it gives you great insights and it gives you great understanding. Predictive analysis is अभी जो हो रहा है उस हिसाब से आगे क्या होने वाला है. That's an amazing thing to do. There are a lot of things which is on a continuous basis if you really look at it. I myself was like amazed by certain things. Like for example, if you want to do a job application, so you heard of Microsoft Copilot. So in Copilot, there is something called cover letter Copilot. Cover letter जो लिखते हैं before you send your resume over, तो उसके लिए cover letter Copilot use करते हो. That's a tool, and that will generate the cover letter that you want, the way you want to write it. You can put that. The prompt, so again, prompt becomes important. And then secondly, you have Simplify, which once you fill a particular application form, बड़े सारे application form होते हैं जब भी job नौकरी के लिए आप apply करते हो, तो Simplify अगर use करोगे, एक बार आपने अगर पूरा application पूरा fill करके दे दिया, तो उसके बाद आपको fill करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. It'll fill up any application which is very smart. It understands different formats of application. It understands अगर मेरा full name जो है वो अभिजीत मुरलीधरन नायर है, कभी कभी कई जगह पर फर्स्ट नेम, मिडिल नेम, लास्ट नेम ऐसे पूछा जाता है. कई कई जगह पर फर्स्ट नेम, लास्ट नेम ऐसे पूछा जाता है इन एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म में. सिंप्लीफाई अंडरस्टैंड्स अगर फर्स्ट नेम, मिडिल नेम, लास्ट नेम पूछा गया तो अभिजीत मुरलीधरन नायर देगा. फर्स्ट नेम और लास्ट नेम पूछा गया तो फर्स्ट नेम में ही अभिजीत, फिर एक स्पेस देके मुरलीधरन, फिर लास्ट नेम में नायर. वो अपने आप कर लेता है. इट अंडरस्टैंड्स दैट. दैट्स हाउ स्मार्ट इट इज. सो दैट्स व्हाई artificially intelligent. So if you do it once correctly, whichever form you want, you'll understand later on how to fill it up. Of course, obviously you have to check it once before you apply, but you can do that. Cover letter, as I told you, cover letter, is a tool which you can use. That's a cover letter of Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft's Copilot, which you can incorporate it with. अभी जितने भी Microsoft के computers आएंगे, उसमें AI will be incorporated. Copilot will be incorporated. You can obviously lose certain things which are free with Copilot right now if you don't want to spend money. I personally will suggest, that you spend money because 2000 रुपए तो हम ऐसे ही खर्च कर लेते हैं. 200% हम खर्च कर लेते हैं. तो 2000 रुपए महीने का इस चीज के लिए खर्च करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आप चूज कर सकते हो. आप चैट जीपीटी यूज कर सकते हो, आप माइक्रोसॉफ्ट कोपायलट यूज कर सकते हो, आप गूगल का जेमिनाई यूज कर सकते हो, एलन मस्क का ग्रॉक यूज कर सकते हो. फ्री टूल्स जितने भी है वो यूज कर सकते हो. आप अगर ईमेल आईडी आप अगर शेयर करोगे तो आई कैन शेयर विथ यू सम फ्री साइट्स एंड सम पेड साइट्स. I can share with you the whatever tools I'm talking about. I can share it with you. So if you provide the email IDs, then I'll share it with Sarthak, or I myself will share the tools with you. Because explaining about tools is easy, but the most important thing is using it. When you use it, you will understand more about it. Then there is something called careerflow.ai. In India, I wouldn't say it's massive, but in UK jobs, German jobs, Singaporean jobs, Malaysian jobs, Dubai jobs. In India, about 60% of the companies have started using it. So it's not completely there, but you'll come to know about opportunities from Naukri there. This is called careerflow.ai. So there, if you update your, they'll keep telling you about job opportunities. आप अगर update करोगे कि क्या किस तरीके का नौकरी चाहिए. चैट जीपीटी यूज करके आप ये भी पता कर सकते हो कि आपके प्रोफाइल के हिसाब से कौन सा होता है आपका वर्ड्स, एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स व्हिच कैन बी यूज्ड within your profile resume plus when you're applying for a job. ये अगर क्या बोलते हैं, अगर आपने एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट देखा उसको अगर चैट जीपीटी में अपलोड करोगे तो उसके हिसाब से आपके रेज्यूमे को चेंज करने के लिए यू कैन अपलोड द रेज्यूमे ऑन टू चैट जीपीटी. And ChatGPT will explain to you where you should change and what you should change. But again, as I told you, you need to learn how to prompt, how to ask that question. इस तरीके से तब आप careerflow.ai use कर सकते हो. आपके हर दिन सुबह or maybe in the evening also. I have not seen it in the evening. In the morning, it always comes to you at about 10 o'clock. They give you a list of jobs which you can apply for. And based on that, just like LinkedIn, but in a much more smart manner, it's much more intelligent. It doesn't give you any goddamn job which comes on. It'll really search for specific role. Again, depending on the prompt that you give. Then you don't really have to apply everywhere. There is a tool called AI Apply, which will apply on its own, depending on your keywords and job profile, job description they align them. In fact, most of the HR people, HR places, I mean, this I gave you the example. Yeah, most of the HR places, they have started using, and this is big time being used in India, automated resume screening. And you might have felt that, that keywords have become a massive thing. They keep asking questions. They keep the first resume which goes through, it goes through automated systems. उसके बाद एक human being के पास पहुंचता है कि ठीक है इसको बुला सकते हो. And sometimes even the AI responds back saying that you'll have a test on so and so day. So even that is automated. So that level of stuff has come up in HR. Employee engagement के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें जो personalized experience है, जैसे आप अपना एक्सप्रेशन एक्सप्रेस करते हो, फिर फेसबुक में एक्सप्रेस करते हो, कहीं और एक्सप्रेस करते हो, तो उस हिसाब से एम्प्लॉयमेंट what do you call employee engagement का हिसाब से it reads your social media posts and tries to figure out what exactly you are trying to look for, what exactly you are trying to learn, all those things. But whatever I'm saying, don't you feel a fear also that शायद हमारा सब कुछ पढ़ रहा हो ये, maybe it understands a lot of things which are not supposed to be understood and these kind of things. Yeah, there is the ethical consideration also, which is a massive thing. तो जब भी आप कुछ करते हो, be aware of certain things. जैसे फिर personal finance के लिए आप अगर कुछ कर रहे हो, so please be aware of the fact that don't give too many details onto this place, because whatever said and done, it remembers everything. And if it remembers your data, it's not a great thing. So try to be aware of that particular part. It's very important to be aware of that. Okay, so that's something which you please be aware of, and be aware and take care of it also, because jo bhi bole, ethics is very important. They still haven't come out with the best laws on this, so maybe you get stuck in matters, and things like that. Anyway, so you might have heard of inventory experiences. People have major issues with operations with inventory and things like that. But that can be taken care of completely by ChatGPT. It is a very tedious task कि कौन सा खत्म हो रहा है, कौन सा सबसे ज्यादा बिक रहा है, कौन सा नहीं बिक रहा है, शॉप के अंदर. So GPT can take care of it if you can give access to how the sales are going on, data points on sales, data points on what is there, what is available, what is gone, and it'll keep giving you, what do you call? It'll keep asking you, telling you that, hey, this is over, get it done immediately, or this is going to get over, get it done immediately. And the future, of course, sales forecasting is a big thing. So it's going to be used massively in marketing. It's an amazing tool for marketing, no question about that. For that, again, prompting becomes a big thing. आपको content or content के हिसाब से SEO, keywords, social media posts, कितनी बार करना है, कहाँ करना है, कौन से time में करना है, all these things. If you ask the right questions, if you can know how to prompt it, you will learn completely, and it'll become very easy. You can completely make it, what do you call it, automate all these things. So that's where, so the ideas person, the person who comes up with the best ideas for marketing, the person who comes up with the best ideas to sell better, the person who comes up with innovative ideas, creative ideas, that becomes very important. So communication is a massive thing here. Communication is changing big time. You want to create 3D models in seconds, it can happen, but you need to know how to ask. So communication, abhi filal, English अच्छी तरह समझती है, हिंदी, कन्नड़ा, मराठी, तमिल, ये सब ओके समझती है, इंग्लिश बहुत अच्छी तरह समझती है, और जितना हम अमेरिकन डिपेंडेंट है और ब्रिटिश डिपेंडेंट है, और हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स भी, इंडिया के प्रोडक्ट्स भी, हम लोग मोस्टली एजुकेशनल, बिजनेस, ये टेक्नोलॉजी, ये सारी चीज़ों we use English. So English has become very important communication. And when you're talking of communication, writing communication has become very important. more than anything else. Of course, GPT-4o जब आई है तब से speaking communication has become more important. अगर आप पहले हम लोग बोलते थे I was traveling in a train. कई लोग अंग्रेजी में जो ज्यादा अच्छे नहीं होते वो लोग बोलते थे आई एम ट्रैवलिंग ऑन अ ट्रेन. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता था क्योंकि अगर मुझसे बोला गया तो मैं समझ जाता हूँ अच्छा क्या बोल रहा है यू नो इट डजंट मैटर. बट चैट जीपीटी नहीं समझती या फिर कोई भी ये जो एआई टूल्स है वो नहीं समझती कि इंडियंस कभी कभी इंडियंस क्या सारी दुनिया के लोग कभी कभी प्रपोजिशंस में गलत करते हैं. तो इफ यू आर ट्रैवलिंग इन अ ट्रेन चैट जीपीटी विल एक्सप्लेन टू यू अंदर ट्रेन के अंदर जो हो रहा है. आप ट्रैवलिंग ऑन अ ट्रेन ट्रेन के ऊपर जो हो रहा है ये तकलीफ है. तो अंग्रेजी सीखना कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स has become very important thing. जिस तरीके से आप बात करते हो कम्युनिकेट करते हो उससे उससे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग बहुत इजी हो सकती है. तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग which is very important in the world of business, in personal life, in professional life, everywhere. So there are going to be new jobs and new roles which will happen. Communication skill improvement will become a massive thing. Writing skills will become a big thing. You can ask help of ChatGPT, but the way you think, so critical thinking, जिस तरीके से आप think करते हो, वो is becoming very important. वो जो theory था, जो बहुत सारे लोगों को पसंद नहीं आता था, that has become very important thing क्योंकि theory use करके उसका impactful बना सकते हो. That has become a very important thing. So that becomes a huge role. That plays a huge role. So this whole thing is going to change in terms of a different way. There could be targeted advertising. You know, this is going to be the future. The targeted advertising is very customer segmentation में किस customer को target करूँ. आप अपने product के categorization कर सकते हो और फिर पूछ सकते हो मैं किस customer को target करूँ. आप अपने advertising जो है target कर सकते हो specific customer को इनसे पूछ के चैट जीपीटी या एआई से पूछे कि कैसे टारगेट करूं और it will bounce up ideas with you and you can create the creative based on that. You can come up with innovative ideas based on that. So this is how it works, and I don't want to keep repeating the same thing again and again. Primarily, this particular conversation, what I'm having today, is based on primary understanding of what exactly. But if you want to really use it, if you want to really go out there and start working on it, that's when you start having a lot of queries. That's when you understand the prompt का value क्या है. किस तरीके से आप prompt देते हो. जैसे मैं ये जो नया आया हुआ है आप कोई भी टेक्स्ट जैसे उपनिषद बहुत सारे लोग आजकल बोलते हैं कि उपनिषद पढ़ने से ज्ञान बढ़ती है. And it's true. I mean, such a massive, large civilization has survived in its understanding, in its intelligence, and in its religion, in its traditions, in its culture, in everything, purely because of Upanishads and Vedas and all these things. But maybe, you know, you don't have the basic inclination to read it. तो आप एक काम कर सकते हो किसी भी एक ऑथर का जो आप विश्वास करते हो उस ऑथर का बुक लेके पूरा ट्रांसक्राइब कर सकते हो आपके हिसाब से with the new chat GPT which is there. The complete book can be transcribed, whether it is in Sanskrit or whether it is in Hindi, it can be transcribed. Even text which is written sometimes can, of course, there will be mistakes. I'm not saying there won't be mistakes, but it can be transcribed. That is the level of automation which is come. तो पहले जो लोग ये transcribe करते थे, उसका सोचो. चैट जीपीटी से आप अभी जो चैट जीपीटी निकली है उससे फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन का एनालिसिस कर सकते हो. मेरा फोटो देख के अगर मैं सरकास्टिकली हंस रहा हूँ या अच्छी तरह हंस रहा हूँ हैप्पीनेस के हिसाब से हंस रहा हूँ you can align those thoughts, you can think of those thoughts, and GPTO can understand it and explain it to you. Does it okay, if you've worked for 10 hours, you take a photograph and put it on GPT-4o and you can ask what exactly do you think I'm going through right now. And I promise you it is going to surprise you because emotional quotient jo hai, emotional intelligence jo hai, that is exceptionally fantastic of the GPT-4o. Because I've taken a photograph at about 8:30 and on a particular day when I've been working and traveling and going to the hospital. I mean, lots of things I'm doing on a particular day. About 8:30 or something, I came back and I took a photograph and I asked GPT-4o for can you give me a what do you call it idea about how I feel and what is it that I'm feeling today. And it gave me an explanation. You look a bit weary. You look a bit tired. You seem to be wanting to take a break. But what you can do is you can do breathing and some ideas about what I can do to make myself feel good. So that's how it's going. It's brilliant at emotional quotient understanding. One of the best things that I really love about this new thing, I've tried to see it in the Samsung S24 Ultra. उसमें देखा, and I also tried it on ChatGPT 4o, which will be aligned in iOS 4.18, which is coming if you're using Apple. तो उसमें देखा तो सोचो आप मुझे कोई स्पेनिश जानता हो, तो आपने मुझे स्पेनिश में क्वेश्चन पूछा, तो मुझे जो सुनाई देगा, if it's coming through GPT 4o, मुझे जो सुनाई देगा वो इंग्लिश में सुनाई देगा, और जो मैं आंसर दूंगा आपको, वो आपको जब सुनाई देगा वो स्पेनिश में सुनाई देगा. ऑफ कोर्स इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस में अभी उन्होंने 3 शायद शुरू किया है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स इट विल स्टार्ट इंप्रूविंग. By the time it is next year, I think at least 5-6 languages of India will be in. And if that's the case, just imagine how brilliant it is. मतलब दुनिया में कहीं पे भी चले जाओ, फोन निकालो, बंदे को बोलो सुनने के लिए, आप बोलो, उस बंदे का लैंग्वेज में सुनाई दिया जाएगा आपने जो बोला. आप जो भी लैंग्वेज यूज करो, वो जो भी लैंग्वेज यूज करे उसमें वो बोल रहा है, आपको जो सुनाई देगा. There'll be problems. Obviously, there'll be problems because all this is trial and error and things are happening. But these are exciting things, and these are things. I mean, if you start looking at how widely it can be used, it's amazing. Anyway, so how AI is used in HR? Explain in detail. Okay. Right now, AI tools are used to screen your resume. So that's the beginning of the process. And after screening a resume for specific keywords and specific skill sets, even, हम लोग लिखते हैं problem solving skills या फिर SQL skills. One moment, Ashish. SQL skills. So if you write that, then mostly the artificial intelligence tool will not take it ahead for you. But if you write, I used my problem solving skills during a project which involved with Birla technology or whatever, context, and then you provide a context. So bullet point में जो आप लिखते हो उसमें उसको problem solving नजर आया, तो आपको स्किल लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो अपने आप आपको बुला लेगा क्योंकि उसको पता लग गया कि ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर हो आप. हाँ, शायद प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग जो वर्ड है वो कहीं ना कहीं रिज्यूमे में होना चाहिए, लेकिन हम जो लिखते हैं ना सॉफ्ट स्किल्स या स्किल्स प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, वो उसमें इट इज अ बिग फ्लॉप बिकॉज वो तो बहुत सारे लोग हैं. वैसे ही एसक्यूएल टूल्स भी, एसक्यूएल टूल्स मैंने यूज किया है करके हम लिखते हैं माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल, एसक्यूएल टूल्स, पाइथन, ऐसे ऐसे करके लिखते हैं, तो it will not give an extra advantage. It is a where have you used it and what is the really value that you gain out of it. What extra courses one should do for getting an extra edge in interview? Well, in terms of one should do specialization in HR for security feature. Well, specialization in HR is good. The idea of specialization is you'll come to know all the fundas. Now you got to use this funda with artificial intelligence to get better. To what extra courses one should do? I personally will suggest अगर prompting का कोई भी course आपको दिख रहा है, I would suggest to do that. And we have in Jaipuria, we have in communication classes, we have prompting element which is aligned to it. So that's the future. So we align that, whether it is regular MBA or online MBA or whichever MBA. I think some of the colleges, most of the colleges are starting to build that because prompt has become such a massive thing. So yeah, a specialization in HR because आपको core HR functions के बारे में और theories के बारे में समझ आ जाएगा, फिर आप उसको यूटिलाइज करोगे, जब यूटिलाइज करने जाओगे तो आपको झिझक लगेगी, जब झिझक लगेगा तो AI tools यूज करो. इंटरव्यू में जो एक्स्ट्रा एज है वो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इट हैपेंस ऑन आपने कितनी बार प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया है, आपने कितनी बार डिसीजन लिया है, आपने कितनी बार टीम वर्क के साथ किसी को किसी सिचुएशन से आप निकले हो, अच्छा हुआ है बुरा हुआ है, डजंट मैटर, आपने किया है कि नहीं किया है. That's what they want. They want people who take risk on a constant basis. तो पोस्ट करने से ज्यादा मैं तो ये बताऊं कि आप स्टोरीज बनाओ, आप जो काम कर रहे हो उसमें देखो कि यार मैं कहाँ सॉल्व करता हूँ प्रॉब्लम, मैं कहाँ डिसीजन ले रहा हूँ, या फिर पर्सनल लाइफ में भी आप कुछ भी करते हो तो किस तरीके से आप डिसीजन लेते हो, किस तरीके से आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हो। तो देर आर स्किल्स ऑफ क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग के कोर्सेज है, अगर करना चाह रहे हो तो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग के कोर्सेज करो, बहुत अच्छी कोर्सेज और अच्छी जगह से करो, very very good places, and there are critical thinking courses in Jaipuria also. You can do it from them also. You can do it from all of the places, whichever place you feel like. That's your choice. But the essence is do courses in critical thinking, do courses in written communication. These are two, three elements which are going to be amazingly useful. Do courses in improving creativity. These are the things which will help you to get an extra edge in interviews. AI versus ML difference. Artificial intelligence is that thing, like, like for example, you ask something, I'll give you an answer. Machine learning is those guys who are working with artificial intelligence to make artificial intelligence smarter and smarter. That's what machine learning is. I hope you understood. You're getting the machine to learn more and more and more and more, so that the machine will be able to answer everything. Ashish, but there's one catch. पिछले दिन मेरा वॉशरूम में एक प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, तो मेरे को प्लम्बर को बुलाना पड़ा, और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस डज नॉट हेल्प। अगर आपको खाना खाना हो तो फार्मर की जरूरत 200% पड़ेगी, बट अगर फार्मर को आप समझाओगे, आप इफ यू कैन लर्न दैट आर्ट कि किस तरीके से यू कैन हैव बेटर ईल्ड इवन विथ 47 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, that artificial intelligence will help you. But we need the farmer, we need the plumber, we need the electrician, we need people. But if you can tell them how to do a better job, that has become a major thing in human resources. That will become a major thing. But ML क्या करती है, वो जो बंदा जो उसको में बैठ के लिखता है ना कि 47 डिग्री में कैसे यील्ड किया जाए, ताकि जब आशीष आके चैट जीपीटी से पूछेगा एआई में कि कैसे कर सकते हैं ये, and if the machine learner did not take care of that particular programming, then it won't come up on AI. But if it did, it does come up on AI. So you understood the difference between AI and ML? I hope you did. I'm not sure. I tried to explain it my way. Yes, thank you for the email. Do share job openings, Akansha. What I can do, Akansha, is I can only send you the email with the tools, which you can try out. Free tools, non-free tools, all of those tools I'll try. I'll put it in an Excel sheet with free tools, non-free tools. You got to keep trying out. You got to keep experiencing this. I'll tell you what, this PowerPoint slide, I was thinking I'll make a good PowerPoint slide, which is what I believe in, which is what I like. Whatever you saw, that was made by ChatGPT, but I had to give a big prompt about 20 lines or something. तब जाके ये हुआ, और अगर मैं और अच्छा कर पाऊँ उसको तो और अच्छा आता। मैंने ज्यादा उसमें मेहनत नहीं किया था, फ्री सेशन है ना इसलिए। बट अगर अगर पेड सेशन है तो मैं ज्यादा मेहनत करूंगा, ज्यादा आउटलुक दूंगा, that's kind of thing. So yeah, it was just for fun that I said that. But anyway, the essence is, thank you for your emails. I'll go ahead and put that down there and let you know this particular thing. Can you please AI Excel sheet? I believe, okay, so Rajkumar, whatever things I told you in this session, even the use cases, like for example, I upload the Excel and then Excel gave the result. I'll give you that. I'll share some prompts with you, with an understanding कि कैसे prompt लिखा जाता है. All this I'll put in an Excel sheet and I'll share it with you with all the email IDs we have here. And if any of you guys want to get back to me and ask me queries and questions, you can ask me on this email ID. And if you want sessions about, for example, I put the email ID on chat. If you want session on prompting, which is what the real big exercise is, we can do that. But I reckon I mostly do it paid, or you can join the course, whichever way you want. And so those are the kind of things which we do. But if at all you want a session of 45 minutes or something, you can chit chat with Sarthak about it. I'll chit chat with Sarthak about it, and we'll try to figure out what can we do about it. So, but then primarily remember, use cases can be a lot, but you have to use it to understand what you want, because this is customized learning. This is hardcore customized world, customized learning, customized scenarios. It's the way the world is. I mean, this particular world is AI world is that. So I personally believe it. So yeah, Sarthak has also shared his email ID. What I'll do is I'll share all this stuff with Sarthak, and Sarthak will share it with you, and then he will continue the conversation with you in terms of whether we can take up more sessions and stuff like that. Yeah, and that'll be good.
So I would like to thank you, Abhijit sir.
Thank you.
Most of us don't think of AI beyond ChatGPT, or ChatGPT also beyond writing an email, or maybe writing an article. So this was very informative for all of us, not just for the students, but for us also, as we. I mean,
Well,
there are so many different approaches that we can take with ChatGPT across industries, not just across departments. So I thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for inviting all of us. And I would like to also thank all the participants for staying throughout the session. Thank you for making it so interactive. And we would love to have you again. In case you have any queries, I have Abhijit sir's email ID in the chat box, and we have the admissions and my email ID as well. You can directly reach out to us, and we would love to interact with you. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody.